I need to pull up my.
That was intense.
Let's take like a 5-minute break so I can set up.
Cool.
I might get food then.
Just drink this ginger salad dressing. I don't think that's a good idea.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. That'll burn my throat. So bad.
So, we're doing the lesson thing, I guess?
20 minutes.
If it's gonna be a few minutes, I'll be, back.
You'll be in what?
I'm gonna go get another drink.
Oh, yeah.
You guys can do whatever, don't wait on me.
Let's go.
Yeah, just give me a couple minutes.
Is there gonna be a PowerPoint presentation?
How the fuck do you do the? How do you guys no clip on this?
I just type no clip in console.
Yeah. Or you have a keybind like me.
I did.
You had the ESA version of it.
No, I have it on both. I have it to say no clip, and it also does no clip. Or it also says no clip.
Sure, it actually works.
Well, it works when I make my own servers.
Well, I'm sorry, it doesn't work on my server.
Mine does.
That's
There we
so
go.
stupid. It can't. So it can't do like multiple binds.
One keybind can't? What?
Well, it can't be like one keybind and do both. Like you can't have it apparently say no clip.
That's weird. Because jump smoking exists, so
Well, I'm saying for this practice mode on this shitty server.
oh,
Whoa, whoa.
this is the non-shitty one, dude.
Hell, it's not-
This one has no colors, so it's pretty shit.
colors?
No, it doesn't.
Laying down smoke.
Colors right now.
Like on teammates?
Oh yeah, that's not the thing.
That's what I meant.
Alright.
Out of curiosity, that last game, the when you guys were T, how soon was that smoke at the base of Banana blooming? Could you get there before it bloomed?
They got there before it. They could run through, cause we wouldn't get there in time for them to
Yeah.
back off from it.
That's really hard. You have to get an amazing spawn and do the setup instantly. And I was taking my time because I didn't want to fuck it up.
God damn, I can't do this cash jump.
If you have both binded to one button, it just toggles it on and off again.
Oh,
'Cause
that's
you can-
oh, cause I say it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, get
That's
fucked.
stupid.
Alright.
Wait. Which jump are you trying to do, Nagi? The mid one?
What? Yeah.
Oh fuck, I can't do that one. That's hard.
I think Tomas can probably do it. Can you do it, Tomas?
Do which one?
Mid jump. There's
Or
only
kind of
really one trick jump in this map.
I can do it on the KG server doesn't have the limitation on.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, I can do it, but I don't have a 100% success rate with it. And I'm not a mid player, no more. So.
I can't even get to the first box.
It's always the stationary strafe jump that I can never do.
I love doing really quick, no clip toggles, so it makes it like you're doing a super jump, like, woo! Oh yeah, you can get up here. I wonder if this is a run boost you can do to get up here.
Don't think so.
Let's try it. Okay, stand up. On your jump, do you want me to run? When you land?
Sure.
Yeah!
It's so pointless though, you're so open.
Yeah, but it's fine because you can get the first pick and then immediately drop down.
Where the fuck's the bomb at?
Or you could have 4 people, 1 on each one.
Oh, where the bomb is? The bomb
We could
is...
firing squad.
No, I don't think. Wait. I don't know if you could get that far.
You can get pretty far.
Can we get that one? Yeah. Like right here? Think this will work? Okay, right when you land, I'll run. No, that was just to stand up. Let me stand up, and then the second jump.
Oh, I failed to jump, but
Next up. No? Okay. Jesus, it
missed it.
works!
yeah,
Why does jump
Run this
boosting
makes
work?
you go like super far. Oh my gosh!
You need to jump? That's part
Yeah, I
of the
know, I know.
Alright, so, let's get started, I guess.
User
Oh,
joined
I
your
failed.
channel.
Whatever.
Fine, okay.
I'm bad at this.
So, basically, what I want to highlight overall is basically we're first talk about general philosophy of retakes, then we're going to break it down into, whether the first section will be whether or not you should do the retake, second section will be communication, third one will be about, time management, and then we're going to also talk about teamwork, and tips and tactics you can use to maximize your retake success. Alright, any questions so far?
Incendiary.
You want us to spec or be players?
Spec is easier.
Incendiary out.
Okay.
So if you guys, me and Nagi can just stay in. So,
Throwing fire.
In it, I guess. Bot or in.
don't worry about bot Orin. Okay. So let's start with lessons. So, basically,
Incendiary out.
retakes is basically the process of CTs reclaiming the bomb site after the T's take it. Generally speaking, that you're going to only have a very short amount of time.
Incendiary.
Most of the time, you're going to have not many people or teammates alive with you. So it's actually kind of very difficult to actually do a successful retake against teams that know what they're doing. But there's still some things we can do to maximize our chances.
Throwing fire.
With that being said, though, so the first thing we need to make sure is actually consider this fact: can we do a retake? So, in order the way for us to differentiate whether or not we can do a retake, it's the first step.
User
How
joined
many
your
people
channel.
we have on our team versus how many on their team. For example, if it's like a 1v4 and the score is, let's say, 2-3, you're the sole CT and you have a rifle against 4 Ts with AKs, you should not do the retake. Only because of the fact that A, it'll be very hard for you to do retake because Ts are going to set up in very difficult spots for you to take. B, if you do lose, you could possibly use that rifle the next round more effectively. And last but not least, though, like the economy. If it's, for example, if it's like a 2v3, I think the retake is definitely possible. The question for that then becomes whether or not you have the nades. For example, do you have smokes, flashes? How's your health looking? Do your teammates tell you that the enemy has low health or something? For example, it's like a CT that's defending the site, can tell you the enemy positions, if you're close by. You can probably definitely make it work. Another thing to note is that for time, when we do retake for time, you need to think about, let's say I'm going to close the 2v4, you're going to go for the retake. You need to think about how much time you actually have left. So let's say you're on A site on this map, bomb gets planted, and it's 2v4. It's going to take you at least 15-20 seconds to run over to here, and then you have to clear out 4 terrorists, right? So you need to take into consideration all these factors. Most of the time, your IGL will tell you whether or not to go for it because he's the one that's actually doing all these calculations in the head. Because he should know exactly how many smokes flashes you have left. Stuff like that. So, and then you guys have to make sure, like, only have like maybe 1 or 2 seconds, 3 seconds at most to decide if you want to go for the retake once the bomb gets planted, or rather, you should be deciding already when the terrorists are entering the site if you're going to go for the retake. So sometimes you see like in pro matches where 3 Ts stack a site, 2 Ts are playing. Sorry, 2 CTs are playing all the way on the other side of the map. They're playing aggressive positions. Terrorists just open up the bomb site, and even though it's a 2v5, they have time to go for a retake. They don't, because they don't have time, they don't have the manpower, and last but not least, they just don't have the economy for it. So, now, sometimes you do have to go for the 1v4s or the 2v4s. That's actually kind of tricky. It's very hard to do. But, I mean, your IGL should be the one making that decision. In matchmaking, since you don't really have a structured team format, most of the time I would actually advise you to go for the retake, only because of the fact that you can definitely catch off enemy terrorists off guard, because you're going to take advantage of the fact that you're not going to have a crossfire when they do their post plant positions. You can definitely do that. So, but now we've got that kind of over with, first thing I want to talk about is communication. So, it is like a 1vx situation where you have one against, say, X amount of terrorists. You don't have to worry about communication. Just make sure your teammates are being quiet. Let you focus on your retake. When it's like a 2v4, for example, a 1v4, you have a teammate working with you. You guys need to be constantly talking. Not really talking about making sure that you guys are pushing together, or at the same time, for example, let's say A site. You have one terrorist, one CT coming up highway, one CT coming up truck. You guys need to make sure, for example, let's peek out highway, truck together, 3, 2, 1, peek. Move on and so forth. Clear each angle together, or rather, clear each angle at the same time, so that the terrorists are actively not being able to get the trades. Which leads down to my next point. With that communication, it's kind of the same as the general team communication. You know, make sure you call out enemy positions. You know, make sure you call out your flashes, your smokes, coordinate them, because you're gonna be talking a lot. Because remember, you don't have time to worry about how your smokes or flashes are gonna bounce off. So you gotta have a lot of trust in each other. For example, if I come up highway with Nagi and I say, okay, Nagi, I'll flash, you know, quad. Nagi should at least instantly know what's gonna happen. So if I flash quad, he's gonna peek quad, and I'm gonna peek 4 at the same time. Then maybe Nagi will flash A main. I'll swing over to fence spot there. Nagi will push quad, clear quad, and then possibly if he has a smoke, will smoke off A main, go for the defuse. Stuff like that. When we have actual more CTs than Ts, it's the exact same situation. The only difference is that you can be a little bit more aggressive with your rifling. As in, like, you guys can push together. You don't have to worry about, you know, setting up pop flashes and whatnot. You have the man advantage. So that's my little spiel on communication. Next thing I want to talk about actually general philosophy, like for the engagement. So last week Corbin did a little lecture on how to do engagements, and for the purpose of retakes, if you have a man disadvantage, your job as a CT is to maximize the amount of 1v1s you can take. Okay? You do not want to give the terrorists any opportunity to get a trade kill on you. Even though you're probably going to have to maybe do like 2 1v1s or 3 1v1s, your chances of winning the retake by doing those 1v1s is infinitely much better than your chances of winning the retake if you're doing like a 1v2, where both 2 terrorists are shooting at you, rather than having one terrorist shoot at you, you kill that first terrorist, and then you kill the second terrorist, then pops out. So, remember, that's the most important thing I want you to get out of this entire night, if you don't have nothing else. As a CT, if you have the man advantage, you want to maximize the amount of 1v1s. Now, if you have the man disadvantage, my bad. If, for example, you have 2v4, what's going to happen is, the best case scenario will be 6 1v1s that will be happening. That is the best case scenario. Now, if you have a man advantage, for example, 4v2 or 3v2, you want to minimize the amount of 1v1s, and instead maximize the amount of trade kills you can get. So best case scenario, for example, would be 4v2. So you have 2 people working together, going to clear the same angles together, maybe one clear left, one clear right angle. Example, let's say in this case, me and Nagi coming up highway, and the other guys are A main. I'm going to clear left, Nagi will clear fork. We'll push together site. I clear left side of quad, Nagi clears right side of quad. We're working together as a tandem, because we want to maximize the amount of trades we get and minimize the amount of 1v1s. And that's the same case applies for terrorist post plans. Like terrorist post plans, they want to maximize the amount of trade kills and minimize the amount of 1v1s to have the man advantage. If you have a man disadvantage, it's still the same thing, but for CTs, if you have a man disadvantage, make sure you can maximize the amount of 1v1s. Now, there's some ways we can actually go for this. For example, let's say if I have, this is actually going to be very crucial on how you take angles and how you use your nades. For example, so one of the best ways to figure out this is to figure out the most common spots based on safety of a bomb site. What I mean by this is that on every bomb site, there's an order, or rather a priority of spot that terrorists will take in terms of safety. So, for example, let's say it's the A bomb site in cache. The safest spot for the terrorists to take post-plant is quad, right? So you know there's going to be X amount of terrorists on the site. You always know there's going to be at least one terrorist on quad. And so the second safest spot, for example, of terrorists would be, depending on whether they came from A main, it's going to be either A main, or if they came from, let's say, or squeaky, right? That's probably the second safest spot for terrorists to play. And so on and so forth. The third safest spot would be in sight. The fourth safest spot would be, forklift. And then every other spot are basically bad spots for terrorists to play, and so they don't want to play that. So, for example, let's say what we can do with this is we can actually play it away in order to maximize the amount of 1v1s we take by only maximizing the amount of coverage we can get. I'm going to take that back. We want to maximize the amount of 1v1s we take by minimizing the amount of angles we open ourselves to. So, for example, if I'm coming up highway, so I know there's always going to be at least one terrorist on quad, so I peek out towards quad. He's not left side. I'm going to hide away from quad. I'm going to check squeaky. He's not squeaky. I'm going to check fence. He's not fence. I'm then now only going to start sliding into forklift, since I know there's no one's, for example, squeaky or fence at the same time. I come around A main. See, if you look at this angle, I'm checking the left side of A main. Now I know I'm hiding myself from quad. I'm hiding myself from sight. I'm hiding myself from squeaky. And you can work your way around that like that. And then if you have, let's say, 2v4, one CT can work away to forklift. He's going to clear half the angles. The other CT is going to clear the other half, right? So say you're coming up the left side of the site. You're going to clear a close angle. You're going to hug the right side of the wall because you want to minimize the angle that terrorists have the left side to highway. And then you're going to clear, let's say, right side A main whilst the other CT clears left side A main. And then you're going to work your way around quad. So that's the situation as well. The other thing we can also do is actually use our grenades. For example, let's say you're a CT and you come up, you can smoke off A main. If you have smokes or flashes, you can use that to cover off the most problematic areas, or rather the areas you think terrorists will be there. So, a lot of people, they'll do it in retake servers on cache is the guy highway. He'll stand here. He's always going to smoke off quad, right? The reason for this is that if you smoke off this angle, you smoke off quad, or even better, you can smoke it off right here. You just got rid of 5 angles to worry about for the time being. What you can just do is clear this angle, example, clear forklift, clear fence, clear squeaky, clear A main, and now since you already cleared up half the angles, you don't have to worry about the other half of the angles. And since you know that half the angles have been cleared out, the T's are going to be the other half of the angles, so you can take that 1v1 fight. Same thing happened with flash. For example, let's say you want to peek out, forklift, but you haven't cleared the fence yet. You can flash like this, flash fence, peek forklift. You know the fence guy's going to be flashed, so you don't have to worry about him. You can slide aggressively here, and then you can now just peek out fence. Make sure you can utilize your grenades in such a way to maximize your 1v1 angles, or rather your duels. So it's even better if you have, like, let's say 3v3 retake and you have like 3 smokes. Oh man, that is so good for CTs, because what they can do is they can smoke A main, they can smoke squeaky, and they can even smoke like cat or something. Now if you look at this setup from the CT retake, this is fantastic. All you have to do is clear forklift together. They can even stay together. You can clear forklift, clear sight, clear quad. They can play for retake because the T's have to push the smokes, right? Because if a T's going to push smoke, you see a CT post planning right here. And yeah, they need a free kill for themselves. Same thing goes with flashes. You have multiple flashes happening at the same time. You can cut off some angles right away and then worry about those angles later when the angles actually going to start mattering for you. Now, with that being said, like about maximizing the common angles, also what tends to happen when you have a very high man disadvantage for 2v4 is that half the terrorists will play the safe angles at the backup plan. The other half will play what we call a one and done angle. If you haven't watched the video by Steel on what's a one and done angle, great video about it. Watch it. I'm going to summarize it right now. The one and done angle is basically an angle, any angle that you can get a kill from, but if the other person was there, you would get traded from. Now, example, 3v5, there's 5 terrorists on site. The terrorists actually kind of want to go for these kind of angles. For example, let's say a terrorist is sitting here. This is actually a great angle for terrorists to get at least one kill if you can get traded. Or rather, let's say a terrorist is actually, you know, here. I mean, this is actually a very bad angle if they're equal man or a terrorist had a disadvantage. But if the terrorists have an advantage, they have a great angle for this. And if you're, for example, let's say you're 1v3, you're the sole retaker, you need to actually be extremely cautious about those one and done angles because the terrorists are going to use that to surprise you. Even though, generally speaking, or rather from a theoretical standpoint, the terrorists would prefer to take the common spots by the order of safety or priority, as we discussed earlier. So that's basically the meat of it. So to summarize all that, when we want to do retakes, we want to maximize the 1v1s we can do. We have smokes, we have flashes. We want to make sure we cut off areas of common angles or common spots that terrorists will play. For example, if you say we can smoke off A main, we can smoke off quad, work together as a team, and so on and so forth. So, next thing I want to talk about is time. So remember, I don't care about the matchmaking time because matchmaking time doesn't count. In a, let's say, in a post-plan situation on a normal, let's say, competitive server rules, you're only going to have really 20 seconds at most because if you're retaken, what that actually means is that you're actually coming from the other site or you're coming
User
from
disconnected from your channel.
central location, like mid. So you're running up here, you know, terrorists already planted the bomb. Remember, you have to take 5 seconds or 10 seconds based on whether or not you have a kit to defuse. So that's already at the most 10 seconds off your time. So you already only have 25 seconds, and you're even going to have to rotate, right? So you have maybe, I'd say 15, 20 seconds at most, barely at most, to clear a site, which means that you cannot just sit around and wait for terrorists to peek. If you're going to play against smart terrorists, the terrorists will not peek you. Like, they're not going to peek out and try to go for the R-dubs, okay? That might happen in pugs, but in, like, 10-mans or, like, say, competitive matches, they will not go for it. They're not going to peek you. So you have to be the one to be pushing it. Like, for time management, like, for example, this is the bad thing to do. I come up, remember, we talked about this earlier, so I'm going to clear the A main side of the map. I come up highway, and I just sit here, wait for the terrorist to peek. For example, let's say Nagi's on site, right? He knows this is what his teammates are doing. He's not going to peek me because he knows he has a crossfire. I can't just sit here waste my time waiting for Nagi to make a mistake and get cocky because I'm already losing time myself. And if Nagi does peek, that's fine because I'm already peeking here for half a second. You need to be constantly moving, so you need to check your angles very quickly. You got to preemptively already throw your flashes and smokes. For example, let's say you are on the opposite of the site. You have to throw your smoke. That's all the time you got to set up. You throw your smoke and you just got to go. Like, you got to clear the consistent fast pace. So you clear one, you go here, you got a second, okay, clear this angle, you got a second, push on, push off, you got a second, you don't have time. The worst thing I've seen people do is actually 1v1 situations where the CTs will wait forever for the Ts to make the peak. They can't let that happen. Do not think that the Ts are going to give you that mistake. Because if you're already pushing and making the constant plays, you should already be clearing out the common angles. And thus, you know that the Ts are going to peek you. They're going to peek you from the spot you already know about, so you can just easily kill them and get that win engagement. Now, if sometimes what can happen is, let's say if Ts get the site, for example on this site, the Ts get the site, they smoke off the entrances. But you sometimes can wait for the smokes to dissipate. This is only very rarely if you have say a three CTs on, or it's like a 2v3. And the only reason I would say it's okay to do this if you wait out smokes out is if you actually already are basically at the outskirts of the bomb site when the bomb gets planted. For example, you're already up A main when bomb gets planted, so now you have 30 seconds to work with, and you know that the smoke takes 17 seconds to dissipate, or rather, you know you can wait, let's say 10 seconds, and then you can start doing your execute back into the site together. There's actually an in-game setting in the audio section where you can set the 10-second timer for the bomb. Basically, the music will start playing with like 10 seconds left for the bomb. So that helps some people. Personally, I don't use it. I find it very distracting, and I kind of already have an internal clock of like when it's 10 seconds or not. Like if you play a lot of Counter-Strike, you'll figure it out, instinctively. For example, whether or not you have time for it, based on how long it took for you. I know some people what they like to do on LAN matches. If they play on LAN, there's a guy behind them with a stopwatch. But that happens. People can do that. People, use their pocket watch or whatever to get that. But yeah, that's the time thing. So it's not really much to talk about time because it's pretty self-explanatory. Like you don't have time to wait. So even if that means you have to push a smoke, for example, let's say there's 20 seconds left in, you see a smoke coming in from quad, and let's say 2v2. So then the high probability that there's since they smoked off A main, they know that they want a guy playing it off angle close to it. So the guy's going to either be forklift, the guy's going to be, let's say, in the cubby spot here, which means that if you have a 2v2 situation, your partner, let's say, comes up highway, come up A main, your partner can save time. You can already save 15-second time by clearing the other half right off the bat, and then you can just push the smoke and figure out where the other guys is. And since you'll probably be taking, remember, if we're taking the 1v1 duels, for example, you guys both might win, you both might lose, but generally speaking, one will win, one will lose. That's actually a good thing for CTs because CTs know what their Ts are, and you can work around that. And so that's the thing for time. Now, for planning the retake, we can't really plan these. Like most of the retakes are very instinctive, and we can't just be like, okay, I'm thinking about this right now. Let's say you sit at truck going to retake for A site. You can't just sit here going, I'm gonna smoke this smoke here, A main.
Throwing smoke.
Then watch this angle for a little bit, like you don't have time for that. Like any sort of like preemptive planning has to go out the window. You need to make this thing second nature. If based on your nades, like you run up CT the truck, you count how many nades you have. You should know instinctively, or rather, figure out already by that time what you want to do with your smoke and what you want to do with your retake. You already should have communicated with your teammates if you have any teammates alive. So this is actually it's where most of the teams fail on CT side because they have poor communication post plan, and they're not coordinating their flashes or their smokes together because they're not even sure what they want to do themselves. And last but not least, last thing I kind of want to talk about is this thing called confidence. Retakes, it's basically the biggest test of confidence. So because you're already at a disadvantaged situation, most people will try to play the safe game, just save the guns. But sometimes there are situations where you cannot do that. Like you just have to go for it. The IGL calls for it, or it's like 14-14, and if you win the retake, the terrorists will be buying pistols, and you have money for rifles. But if you lose the retake, then you have pistols, and vice versa. You have to go for it. So you have to have some confidence. Or basically, like I just say, balls of steel. Even that means like pushing the smoke the opponents throw. Like, let's say you're coming up A main. You see a smoke just about to go down? Yeah, just fucking jump right through it. Go left side, go clear the forklift. There's smoke A main, so one CT at least doesn't have his gun out in time to get that trade. Even pop flash yourself through stuff like smoke A main. Alright, just pop flash. Just go. Jump out. And you gotta be like Superman, or rather Olaf Meister, You see how like Olaf Meister always like gets the crazy shots in midair and all that stuff? But he plays with such amount of confidence that he knows he can make those shots happen. And when he does land, he knows he can still win the aim duels. Like, this is a lot of... Most of the retakes basically going to be about your confidence. Like, when you go into the site, you clearing your angles, methodly, with a very fluid motion, but you got to have some confidence that you're going to win all those 1v1 duels that you're going to take. And that's basically the general synopsis of retakes. Like, so we talked about, the general idea, general philosophy, maximizing the 1v1s, or if you have the man advantage, maximizing the trade kills, how to approach, time management, and most not least, like, mentality is basically going to be what equates to confidence. Before we continue any further, does anyone have any actual questions?
No, I'm good.
Anyone have any other questions?
It's like university all over again.
Bueller.
So if no one has any questions, like, I'm just gonna quickly go through the maps and like identify, at the very least, like what I think are the most common spots in terms of priority. So example, like, let's start off with casters over here. So yeah, everybody knows that quad is the safest spot. For example, it lets the T's cover multiple angles. The T's can cover highway, the T's can cover A main, the T's can cover the truck push, and the squeaky push. And the reason why
User disconnected from your channel.
that happens is because that's the easiest spot to set up a crossfire. So, and when I'm going to talk about post plant, that's actually going to be another lesson for another time. I'll talk about the terrorist philosophy of post plant, but the general idea is that when you identify, at least like let's say pre-match, and you're thinking about how I should do a retake in this X scenario, you can basically identify the most common spots by either experience or by figuring out what's the easiest crossfire to set up by the least amount of terrorists. So, example, the easiest crossfire, of course, is going to be, you know, quad A main, right? Because quad and A main can get the highway pushed together. So let's say quad guy sits by forklift, you know, you have A main guy sit there as well. You can spot every you know crossfire you want to spot with smokes and whatnot, and you can work down the list. For example, let's go B site. All right, what's the most common T spot here? You know, most of the time the T's plant for let's say
Throwing
bomb
flashbang.
here. You know, T's are going to be B main, right? They're going to be B main checkers based on bomb plan. Which actually leads me to another point I forgot to bring up. The best way, one of the best way you can figure out where the terrorists are post planning is based on where the bomb gets planted. For example, like, say this is actually a perfect example on cache here. Bomb gets planted out here in the center, right? If T's come to B main, the easiest place for the terrorists to defend is actually going to be this angle right here. He's only exposed to one angle at most. He's not exposed to CT. He's not exposed to hover. He's not even exposed to B main at most even. They can just hold this angle. This is a beautiful angle. Second best angle for terrorists would be actually this spot here, right? So, and then you can work your way list down here. So let's say terrorists post they post a bomb right here. Let's say behind quad box. The terrible plant, and I'll explain that in another lesson, but they plant here, you know, you see, let's say, guy upper, you see here them plant behind quad box. Okay, then you know these one terrorist in sight, the other second terrorist is actually going to be either, you know, corner, headshot box, or if you have the multiple terrorist advantage, you know he's going to be playing right here under hell, actually under heaven by hell. So you can identify, like, based on where the bomb gets planted, like where the terrorists are planted post plants, and you can use that to plan and execute your retake path. I could call it for example. So we have our retake back, you know, we're gonna clear out checkers. Don't worry about this thing. If the only way maybe worry about this is it's like a 2v2 where terrorists are gonna play one and done angles, or it's like you have a supreme man disadvantage, you might have to clear the spot out. And if you know they're playing in the site, you can, you know, smoke off. You know, X amount of spot, we can smoke off CT, you know, smoke off. And now you cut off the CT guys who's holding this angle, you know, for the bomb.
User joined your
All that
channel.
stuff.
Hi.
So basically, you can identify on every map, like from experience, like Infernal, the B bomb site. You know, the safest spot for T's to play post opponent is going to be tri-box, right? You're always going to find a terrorist tri-box every time, right? We've seen it today in the Infernal matches. Like for my team, I'm telling you guys to go tri-box because that's the safest spot to play. For the CTs, that's going to be the
User
last
joined
spot
your
they're actually
channel.
gonna clear.
User joined your
Because they
channel.
know that they already
User
know
joined your
the
channel.
T's going to be there, so you don't have to worry about actually clearing that. They don't want to clear the more dangerous spots. Then they're going to work to get to clear the last spot itself. So
User left your channel.
remember, like, if you learned anything this night, make sure you want to maximize.
User
your amount of
disconnected from your
1v1s
channel.
you're taking. And you can do that with nades, flashes, and the bomb plans. Knowing, like, for example, from your teammate, they're on the site where the T's went post plan. So, but most important thing is not like knowing all this information beforehand. It's just making sure you're confident. Like, it's like basically, I guess you could apply the general CS gameplay, but like in all aspects of the game, like pistol round, opping, mid round rifling, like, you know, going for the execute, you gotta have confidence. And if you have like confidence, you know you're gonna make that shot, or you know you can kill that guy, even though you have a health disadvantage, like you're 20 HP and that CT has maybe 100 HP. You're pushing into the site and you know you're going to kill him, you're probably going to kill him because that's just the way the game works. I can't really explain it, like magic or whatever, you know? You will yourself to get those spots, you know? The same thing with retakes, like you know you're going to get this retake, right? So you know you're going to play around their post plans or whatever, and then stuff like that. So like every map always going to have like a most common spot, and then they're going to have the second most common spot. Like if you watch any pro replay, just based on how they execute, it turns out they're going to identify and fill those common spots out, and then you'll see the CTs. The way they clear the bomb site, they're always going to clear out the least common spots first.
User
Most
joined your
common spots
channel.
are last. So that's that little explanation. Any questions? No questions? Everybody's like, all right.
User joined your channel.
Is anybody here?
We're all like, we're all
I'm
pros
here.
at retakes now.
Yeah, like, you know. I mean, is anything you want to add, Nagi? Because I kind of like, I think I went into the majority of the information I wanted to talk about beforehand.
That was about right.
Oh,
Just-
I do have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, say they so they just planted and they're not quite in their post-plant positions.
Mhm.
If you have one guy up close and another guy like coming behind, say it's like 2v3, you have 2 CTs and 3 Ts. Do you always wait for the second CT, or do you try and take advantage of the fact that they're going to be going for post plants and like try and catch people off guard?
It depends.
Can you
It
identify?
feels like it depends.
It depends for them. It depends on what you're feeling in the game. Depends on if you think that the Ts are fanning out the post plans. Like ideally, what's going to happen is you're going to identify a T, go into his post plant, and you're not going to get the trade kill. So you can go for that 1v1 duel right off the bat and win it. Now you have a 2v2, and you know where the other 2 Ts are because you already cleared out that one spot where the T was going to go, right? That just made it 100 times easier for your partner to not have to worry about that one spot. Now,
Yeah.
if sometimes like when T's are getting to the post plant, they're gonna cover the angles they haven't covered already. For example, on A site, I plant right here, and I'm gonna check squeaky little toxic a little quickly, and I'm gonna check A main quickly, and I'm gonna still go vents, right, or rather squeaky door. Now, it's kind of have to wait. I mean, the worst part, I guess generally speaking, you're gonna wait. For example, if A, you have time, you want to play it safe with your retake, or B, you're already on the site and they are already smoked off all the entrances, so it'd be suicide for all your teammates pushing together, without like a pop flash or whatever. Example, like that kind of thing though. Like if you see that kind of happen though, my general thing is I would actually go for it, only because of the fact I know that I can at least get a 1v1 duel started, and I'm gonna have the advantage because I can catch at least one T off guard, and the second one's gonna have to like actually react, go for it. You'll see that actually a lot of times happen is like in pro matches. Let's say, especially happening a lot of Mirage, the T's go for A bomb, A execute, A smoke to get the plant down. There's a guy
User
CT,
left your channel.
He'll like push the smoke, kill the bomb planter, and just run back.
User left
The
your
reason for that
channel.
happened is because he got the 1v1 duel. He wanted a 1v1 duel, and he maximized his chance of getting the 1v1 duel by playing pushing through the smoke. And now he's going to run back. Now the T's, they know that there's a CT at the CT spawn, right? But the problem is that they just lost a crossfire they had. Now they have to readjust themselves even more to set up another crossfire. But they're going to be, of course, because people get distracted by things that are happening in the game. They're both going to be spawning that CT spawn, so you don't want to actually push out again and lose the advantage you already had going into it. So most of the time, it's going to be very situational. Like, do you have time? Do you have the good position? Can you force a 1v1 duel with you having the advantage and then backing off? Like, do you have to actually commit? Example, you see your A main, you see 2 T's coming off the site into quad and fence. Like, if you're here, like you stay here, you start spraying, this is actually a bad idea. If you're shoulder peeking, you can get one off and just come back, wait a little bit, that's fine. Like, that kind of thing. So, but
Yeah, I just want to add to that. I think Tomas briefly mentioned it, but so yeah, again with the whole whether or not you should peek before they hit into the post plant positions. My general rule of thumb would just be, again, it depends, but don't overcommit. Like if you don't think you can get it, then don't go for it. Don't push all the way through a smoke and then leave no exit for you, or leave your exit way too far back. So like you want to just like if it's through a smoke or something, you just want to peek out a little bit, pick off one guy, and fall right back, so they can't kill you.
But ultimately, in the end, you're going to have to make commitments to get the retake done, right? But if you can,
Yeah.
But if you can, like Nagi said, minimize your the unnecessary commitments, I would say, then that's a good approach to have.
Yeah. Like if it's a team retake, and you happen to be on the site and you're still waiting for your teammate to rotate, then yeah, take a quick peek, try and take a kill or two and even out the odds, and then fall back, and then that way you just made your team retake a lot easier.
Right. I mean, this actually happened a lot in the Inferno game, where I think Depp or Nagi, they would sit CT. You know, we terrorists would smoke this CT cross. Nagi would pop flash out. You know, peek through since the T's are gonna be blind. He's gonna get one kill and he just falls back. Right. Now the T's have to worry about the fact that there's a CT that can just keep spraying them through, and Nagi got a kill, so he slowed down to execute. You know, stuff like that. So this is actually kind of stuff's gonna even apply to not just retake, but even like during executes as well. So did that like kind of answer your question, hopefully?
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Any other questions? If anyone's still watching, with the stream or at least the earn server or TS server.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are
I'm quietly paying attention.
That's fine. So.
Now you DC'd, but.
Yeah, so that's basically like the summation of the retake lesson. Like, if you guys have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask me, Nagi, or post in the Team Liquid threads. You can definitely identify like situations. Then we have a very specific scenario, or like a demo where you think you kind of had a bad retake. Could help you out with that.
User joined your channel.
Are you guys done?
We just wrapped up the retake lesson, yeah.
Okay. Is everybody staying?
I still would like to play.
You can stay.
I have a question. How do you get people to listen and be coordinated and control them to make sure they're going out at the same time?
Yell at them. Because clearly that works.
Countdown.
Yeah, ultimately that's going to come down to personal player skill and maturity, and most importantly, experience working together as a team. So,
it's also attitude. Like,
I'm in favor of the countdown.
It's how they weigh the certain game that you like that they're playing in compared to how you weigh it. If I weigh a matchmaking that I don't care, I'm just gonna screw around, and your teammate is like, oh, I want to try hard, I want to rank up and stuff. It's like talking to a brick wall. It's not gonna work.
User joined your channel.
When do you think, let's say Inferno retake 2v2, coming from B, you're both library side, do you think you should be setting up a crossfire there with one on each wall? Or do you think you should be both on the wall together creeping up?
Do you have
B or library?
Coming from library to A.
From B.
No.
You have flashes?
One.
Okay, so so that's actually a good question. So, 2v2 retake, generally for T's, it's actually 2v2, which means that T didn't have time to get to the graveyard, because you already have library. If you were to cross, T would be dead, so you know at least one T is going to be pit, and you know at least one T is going to be site. So that the question now begins, do you think you can take the aim duel with the pit guy, or do you want to take the aim duel with the site guy? That would determine whether or not you flash. For example, if you want to take the aim duel with the site guy, you're going to hug the left side of the wall by graveyard, you're just going to flash into pit, right? So the pit guy's blinded. You want to take the aim duel with the pit guy? Okay, let's hug the right side of the wall. Actually, yeah, hug the right side of the wall, flash site. You know, we'll take the aim duel with the pit guy, and then we'll both get into site immediately. So site guy loses the angle with us. We can trade the site guy, and then we'll figure out the pit guy later. And vice versa, like, you know, we'll flash out the site guy. We'll both be running, you know, one will spot the pit guy, the guy behind him will maybe spot the site guy, or whatever. Say the site guy decides to repeat, you know, you'll have two 1v1 duels, right? What should not be happening, though, is that you could have one 2v1 duel or two 2v1 duels. Like, you want to get the pit guy to not be shooting at the same target as the site guy. So, however way you're going to get that to work, just kind of make it work. It might be like instinctive. You might do like some kind of crazy play, you know. Maybe you want to actually have one guy rotate all the way around to wrap, or sorry, from wrap, to arch to quad porch. And that way, the porch guy can focus on, pushing site aggressively, and you can focus on pushing lane down to pit aggressively, or something like that. As long as you guys are maximizing the amount of 1v1 duels you're taking.
Do you think someone should take over in that situation that's alive to call for that end game area scenario?
It depends on the team dynamic. Like, you have a
Theoretically, like in a proper team, like the two that are alive should be the ones talking. Like it's not the dead people just shouldn't talk.
Yeah, because the two
But-
guys alive
yeah.
are the ones that they're gonna know what they're gonna do. Like, for example, if I'm the IGL, I'm dead, right? 2v2 retake, and I know there's a guy pit, and I know there's a guy site. Like, I'm gonna let you guys talk it out how you're gonna approach it based on your nades, based on your HP, based on what weapons and flashes, smokes you have, right? I don't want to tell you. See, I don't want to be bossing you around because that's me being distracted. Retakes are already a very high intense situation where any distraction like that can be detrimental to the retake success. But in a matchmaking game or like a casual game, it might maybe help out because remember, when we're like a high competitive game, the terrorists are gonna have proper post plans. When it's like a matchmaking or casual game, the terrorists will most of the time not have proper post plans. So you can kind of get away with that, but ideally, like Nagi said, the guys alive should be the ones talking the most because they're the ones that are actually gonna commit to what they're doing, and they have their own views on how they do the retake.
So, how many people?
Do we have 10 to play,
yeah.
or do we have 10 to play? Is basically
7 that I can see in server, but
Yeah, let's play. And then,
Okay.
yeah, that'll be the end of retake lesson. So I'm gonna save the Twitch VOD, upload it to YouTube, and then I kind of wanted to make the next one actually be post plan because for the post plan, that's going to be the terrorist perspective on the retake, how to stop the retake or how to minimize the retake success.
don't peek.
We'll talk about that.
That's not even true, Nagi. You should peek all the time.
only peek. Post up. It's called
Just
post
run
plan.
right up to the CT.
You're a
post
terrorist.
For a reason. You gotta post up, baby. Post up to the pole in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, but basically for the terrorist side lesson, my main focus is going to be setting up and maintaining crossfires, because from a philosophical and a theoretical point of view, the terrorists want to minimize the amount of 1v1s they're taking. They always want to be a trade kill, because the dream goal for a terrorist is to get a 1v1 situation. That's the dream goal, because CTs have no backup, CTs have to make the noise, and terrorists can play so well around it. So, let's just get the game going, actually. I'm just going to stop talking about retakes. Like I said, even if there's a question, don't be afraid to ask me, Nagi, or post it in the forums. So.
Yeah, don't ask Pork. Pork is stupid.
Pork is pretty dumb.
Sure.
I do apologize for getting angry at you earlier, Pork.
I don't care, it's fine.
Never apologize. The sign of weakness.
Now I'm going to troll you even more.
I can
You already
sit out.
told me a lot.